Hope you're all okay, Scent Squad. Those of you that are in my team are going to wet yourself laughing. I have a habit of going live in my team with a cup of tea, like said cup of tea, and spilling it all over my desk, which I've literally just done. So while I wait for a couple of you to come on, I've now spilled it all over my order book because, you know, I'm incredibly organised. And yeah, I'm currently cleaning the tea up off my desk with a cotton clean up because that's how we roll. And that gives you the perfect little insight into my crazy personality because I'm a bit nuts. So Lisa's asked me to come live because the world has changed a little and people in our industry are starting to go back to work, or people are starting to come on board that have got other jobs as well. And we had a bit of a chat in the directors group about working your Scentsy business alongside a full-time job. And here I am, because that is something that I do. So for those of you that don't know me, I am Georgie. I am a director and I have been with Scentsy since July 2020, so right in the middle of lockdown. So I'm approaching 3 years, and it's been a crazy 3 years. I didn't know whether I was going to have a job to go back to after COVID, so I signed up and here we are. Like at any point during that time, I've never not worked. Whether it was working like during COVID from home in a really small capacity, or whether it was post-COVID going back out doing a full-time job. So I'm a mum of 3. I have a 13-year-old, I have an 11-year-old, and I have a 5-year-old who all of them are challenging in their own ways, especially the little one. She is a whirlwind. And I work for a school photography company as a visual marketing manager. Now, I don't just work full-time and sit at a desk. I travel the country up and down. I do thousands of miles of driving, sometimes in a week, sometimes all month, backwards and forwards, up and down the country, and it's full on. It's around my children, and it's a job that's given me the most wonderful flexibility over the years that they've been at school, but it is full on. And in the last couple of months, I know Lisa posted an interview that she did with me about a year ago, but in the last couple of months, my job role has changed. So I am developing a partnership and potentially changing the face of the business, changing the whole way that my department works. I've recruited a new team, and yeah, it's full on. Writing business plans, travelling all over the place. Then the graphics and things that we create and design, like for schools, like prospectuses and websites and all that jazz, we have to go and measure it all. So like this morning, today, I've been to 3 different places. I've measured loads of windows outside for like film that we can put on them. So it is really like, I don't have a structured day-to-day job, let's put it that way. It is literally, I could be here, there and anywhere, all over the show, doing different things. But it hasn't stopped me in being successful. I am fairly decent at PRV, and I have managed to stay at director. I've kicked the queue twice. I'm still holding on for dear life. And yeah, so I'm hoping that I can share some advice with you guys on how I do it. And I want it to be like a bit of a Q&A. So there's quite a few of you watching. If you're working and you've got things that you struggle with, or if you're starting a new job, or there's things that you just can't find a balance with, please feel free to ask the questions, and let's make this as informative as it can possibly be. Now, I'm not going to lie. If you think that I'm going to come here and I'm going to sit and say, these are the systems that you need to have and this is what works, this is not the training for you, because there aren't any. I literally need a crown or like a set of wings, or even a t-shirt that says like winging it queen, because I don't have any fluff in my business. I don't have any set systems that I follow. I literally live by what's the phrase I want? Stop planning and start doing. Because if I spend too much time planning, the periods of time in my day that I have to work Scentsy are so small that nothing ever happens. And doing is like action is always going to create results. Planning's not. So you need to start taking action, start doing, and stop trying to plan and stop trying to fine tune things, because nothing has to be perfect. Like genuinely in this business, nothing has to be perfect. Like my business doesn't really have a lot of fluff. Sometimes I might tissue paper some orders, but sometimes I don't. Everything in my business is orange, in case you hadn't gathered. So all of my orders have got cute little orange bags. Sometimes they get tissue paper. They get a little snap and share that gets tied on it. That's, I write their name on it. They get some samples and they get a thank you that's pre-printed. But everything that I do is genuinely for speed, because I don't have the time in my day to be organised. I'm not particularly a scheduler. For those of you that are disciplined and have got, that have got jobs, scheduling is an absolutely incredible tool. And if you can get yourself into the habit of doing it, I take my hat off to you. And it is absolutely something that you should utilise. However, it's not something that I do very well. Like, this is going to be quite a vulnerable live. I don't do that very well. I might post at 7:30 in the morning when I get up, and then quickly schedule something for 10:30. That's about as far as it goes. I'm not going to lie. Doesn't go much further than that. So a lot of my customer group is me out on the road, me at work. Like, people like to see that you can run this business alongside a job. And I would say that my customer group is probably, like, I know that a couple of my team are watching. If you're in my customer group, tell me if you agree. My customer group is probably a bit more of a blog of my life. It's either me taking the piss out of my kids, being really annoying, or, that I've driven loads of miles, or that I really need some coffee with some Scentsy chucked in. So it'll be like, today was my Arctic Kiss pods that I really don't want to discontinue, and my car smells amazing on my travels. It could be like car bar scent circle. There's a couple of product posts in there, but it's generally, for me, I don't have that like Facebook customer group where I sell loads. That's not the way that I speak to my team. I say that my Facebook customer group is my shop window. It's something that keeps me popping up in their feed, and it is something that, it shows that you're open, it keeps you in people's minds. But I don't really sell a lot in Facebook. Some people do, and that's amazing. I don't. It doesn't happen. The majority of my sales come from networking. Now, we are in network marketing, and if you are fortunate enough that you go out to work, whether it's part-time, full-time, nights, whatever, the likelihood is that that is your very own network that you can tap into and that you can sell to. So it absolutely has its advantages. It should never be something that holds you back. Lisa and I actually had a conversation this morning that Lisa definitely recruited more people when she was working, because you're more real. Like, people look and they might say, oh, I can't do that, I can't dedicate that time to it. But if you can show that you're doing something alongside another job, and it is a side hustle, that makes you appealing. That makes you an appealing leader, because you can absolutely lead from the front and show people what you can do alongside another job. And keeping it simple is absolutely the key, because all the fluff and all of the worrying and all of the planning just takes up time that you just haven't got. Like, I've got kids that do all the clubs. Both boys play football 3 times a week. Cooper's in every school team that you can imagine. B does dancing, like swimming, you name it. The kids go to those clubs. I literally, between me and Carly Parks, the other director, we spend our weeks driving backwards and forwards to football. But it's about utilising that time. So pockets of time, I know they're spoken about time and time again, but they really are key. And it's just about, if you've literally got 30 seconds, having the mindset of, I'm going to pop a post up. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be shiny and loads of words and all the things. It doesn't have to be any of that. It just has to be consistent. And by consistent, I don't mean that it needs to be 7, 9, 12, 3, 6. It just means you need to show up every day. And how that looks doesn't matter. Perfect, there's no such thing. There's a bunch of imperfect systems, but nothing's perfect. So stop worrying that you can't do it. Now, if you're considering a job, or you're about to start a new job or a new adventure, someone asked me this the other day and they were like, or actually I've had a couple of people ask me, like, how do you do it? Like, how do you find the time? And honestly, think back to those of you that have got children, or those of you that have got grandchildren, or those of you that have got a dog or a pet. And when you have a child, you think, how the hell am I going to cope with that? How is a baby going to fit into my life? But it does. This little thing rocks up, or you bring the puppy home, or, you know, you just cope. The same as then when if you have a second child, you're like, oh my God, I've got absolutely no idea I'm going to cope with 2 of them. It rocks up, and you do. It's exactly the same as your business and work. Stop worrying about how it's going to work. Stop worrying about what you need to do, and just do shit. That would be my advice. Just stop worrying and start doing, because when you take action, action presents results, and it doesn't matter what that action is as long as it is income producing. So make the samples. Do they have to be, you know, all singing, all dancing, all pretty graphics and whatever? No. Do they have to have flyers and things advertising stuff in your orders? No. Because ultimately, as long as you're using this, your voice, and you're communicating with your customers, that's all that matters. So in terms of systems, my follow-up system is, I don't know if it's genius or if it's massively under par, but my follow-up system consists of, I go into my WhatsApp, I start at A, and I go all the way down to Z, and I message all the people that have ever bought from me. And then I go into Facebook Messenger and I go through all the messages that I've ever sent to people about Scentsy or that people have bought, and I follow up with them. And then I do the same in Instagram, and that's it. That is literally how simple my system is. I literally just use my phone book, and you know, it works. I make sure that I do that once a month so that every single person that's ever bought from me has had some form of contact with me. Yes, people ignore me, absolutely, that's fine. Lots of people order, and that's it. But it's not fluffy. I haven't got like columns and spreadsheets and God knows what that tells me what samples I've given them. I don't know, and that's okay. It's okay. It doesn't have to be regimented. Like, I've literally got a box of samples. This is my organisation level. This is my box of samples. When I pack my orders, they get whatever's in the box. That's about it. Like, yes, they get lots. They might get 4 or 5, but they get whatever's in the box. They get what I've made. So, you know, when I did the Valentine's collection this month, everybody had them. I knew that everybody had the Valentine's collection. I didn't need to document that. I just made sure I made loads of them. They went out in every bag. So then it gives me, when I go back through that list and I know who's ordered, I ask them if they like their samples, and that generates sales. But it is a networking business, so the majority of the PRV that I bring in comes from talking to people, asking how they are, asking how their children are. And working full time absolutely utilises and benefits our business because there's more people that I can talk to. there's more people that I can, you know, give a sample pack to while I'm out, or, you know, give a scent circle to when a head teacher says to me, oh, I've got a new car. There you go, you can have a scent circle. I never go out Scentsy naked. There's always Scentsy in my bag. There's always sample packs in my car. And again, so it's not finding people to give it to intentionally. It's natural. It's a natural way of being able to promote Scentsy. And that then does lead to incredible recruitment conversations, because a lot of people that see me doing what I do, they know that it's feasible. They know that you can do it alongside a full-time job, and they know that it's something that does work. But I think sometimes people get so caught up in their own heads that they think, oh my God, I can't do this. Oh my God, I should be doing this. Oh my God, I should be doing that. And don't get me wrong, overwhelm is absolutely an emotion that every single one of us feels. It's real. It's a part of our lives, especially if you've got children, especially if you've got high pressure jobs, especially, you know, when you want to be successful. You can feel overwhelmed because you put yourself under the pressure to do well. You put yourself under pressure to, like, reach a goal or to do X, Y, Z. But that's normal. It's about overcoming that and realising that actually how you do it, it doesn't matter. As long as you get to the end product, it doesn't matter. I am Last Minute Lil, and I'll give it, like, the Scentsy Club incentive that we had last year, for example. I sort of had conversations throughout the period of time, like, you know, with customers, mentioned it and had it sort of checked in the back of my mind. And then on the last day, I was like, right, I need to achieve that incentive. So I put my mind to it. It was a Sunday afternoon. I put 2 hours aside and I sat down and I messaged all the customers that I'd had a vague chat about to, and I pulled off the club subscriptions. It's about sort of focusing on one thing at a time, is what I would say. I can't actually see if there's any comments, so I don't know if anybody's got any questions or anything. But yeah, what do you find that you struggle with? Oh, Kirst, meltdowns. It happens. It absolutely happens. And the biggest thing is, do not feel guilty if something doesn't happen. Do not beat yourself up if you get home from work and you've had an absolutely shocking day and you think, oh Christ above, I can't do this. Don't do it then. Because if you force yourself to do something related to Scentsy that day when you're not feeling it and you feel the pressure, that's counterproductive, because you're doing it with the basically, and that's not productive. So it's okay to go to bed and think about it the next day. The beauty of this business is it's there for when it works for you, and it will take you a while to find what works for you and to find what your non-negotiables are and what you're prepared to compromise on. And yeah, you might beat yourself up a little bit and think, oh, do you know what, I don't know, I feel like I should be doing more. But you genuinely have to get over that. What would I say are the things that are my non-negotiables each day? Non-negotiables each day. Posting my customer group first thing in the morning. It's always just me having a cup of tea, me in the car, one of the kids dancing around the kitchen. Make sure that a couple of posts have gone out, nothing major, and make sure that I've posted in my VIP WhatsApp group. That's probably my non-negotiables every day. So I actually have a WhatsApp group, and I will always post something in there every day, purely because that is my main point of contact with my customers. And it doesn't matter if they ignore me, I at least know that I've shown up. I've shown up, they've seen something. Today I posted about the whiff box. So again, I've reminded them about that. I haven't posted the whiff box in my customer group, but I know that the majority of them are in there, and that's fine. And then I would say my non-negotiables, like, I probably don't have non-negotiables on a daily basis, Lise, if I'm really honest, because I don't know what my days are going to look like. I.e. for today, I've had 3 meetings back to back where I've been around London and measured things and then come back, and then B kicked off, exactly like Kirst just said, and I had to try and deal with that. So I probably haven't posted in my customer group since 2 o'clock this afternoon. So I've popped something in my WhatsApp group because I can literally do that in 30 seconds. I know that then everybody's seen it, and that is for me how it works. In terms of, yeah, like I would say I have an hour a day probably that I dedicate to Scentsy religiously, and that is 7 o'clock. I get in the bath. And I catch up with my team. I catch up with my customers that have either ordered or need to do payments and things like that. And then I would say that Sundays are my actual Scentsy day. Sundays are my day that I aim to get the majority of my PRV. Like, Sunday sales for me are huge, and it's just, I don't know, it just seems to be a day that works for me. It's like I've got all the kids' football out the way, I've done all of that, I've done my mum duties, roast is in the oven, I can have a real good couple of hours, and it doesn't matter if I'm on my phone as much. So it's just about finding what works for you. So I would say, yeah, I probably have a power hour where I'll think, oh, I've not spoke to so-and-so, or someone told me about that, or someone messaged me about what is a whiff box, and I'll reply to those messages. I'll reply to my team messages that I need to reply to, and then Sundays are probably my biggest Scentsy day. And I like to set myself a goal. So for example, I'm at 535 PRV or something at the moment, and I'm looking at that thinking, right, I want to be at 750 by Sunday. So I'll sort of, in the back of my mind, have a plan of what I'm going to do. I normally do like a Sunday spotlight, so I'll spotlight an item, I might put a special on or something to get to that goal, and that's how I then get like chunks of PRV. And I am a bit mental in that I'll go, right, I want to be at 1,000 by then, and then by hook or by crook I'll do it. But I think it's this business, when you're working, you have to be in the mood for it. Now, I love it passionately, and I love my team inside out. They are freaking awesome, and I've made an incredible team of amazing leaders, and you've got to love it. And if you're starting to get to the point that you feel like you're spinning, you need to step back and reassess it. You need to look at why you love it, what works, because if it's not working, sack it off and put it in the bin. Just don't do it. So I was trying to do monthly VIP boxes. Every month I was getting myself really stressed out about trying to come up with a theme, trying to sell more, trying to promote them. The reality is they just don't fucking work for me. My customers don't buy them. So I've given up. I don't do it. And that's fine. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. This is a business that you can absolutely, it's a bit like parenting, right? I know I'm analysing it being like a mum, but someone once said to me when I had children, listen to every piece of advice that you're given, but at the end of the day, remember that mum knows best. So your instinct knows best. This is very similar. It's a business that I'm not the same as any of you people that are watching now. So stay in your own lane, do what works for you. Absolutely, as you go along your road and along your path, take on pieces of inspiration from people or things that you think would work for you, or adapt things that you think that you can implement into your business. But don't compare. Don't look at that person and say, oh, well, she can do that, but I just can't do that. She can do that, but I can't do that. Who cares? It doesn't make you any less successful. It doesn't make you any more successful. It just makes you you. And you are the reason that your customers buy from you. So if you're going back to work and your customers know that, show them that you're working. Show them what you're doing. Make what you're selling relevant to what you're doing in life, because there will be lots of people in your customer group that relate to that. And it's about showing that you can do all of it. And I promise you that if you want to grow a team, showing that you can do Scentsy alongside something else is 110% where the gold is at. Absolutely is. I've had 2 recruitment conversations today. Both the people work. One of them actually works for another network marketing company, but she's, not really feeling it. And one of them works with me at work. And the lady at work actually said to me yesterday, how do you do it? Like, is it actually worth it? And I was like, yes, it's worth it. absolutely it's worth it. It literally fills my soul up. It's my little bit of me time. It's my business. It's my fire. But she was like, oh, I just don't think I've got time. I was like, that's bullshit. You only work 2 days a week. Like, why? Why are you telling me you've not got time? She was like, well, but with the girls and this and that. And I said, okay, how long do you sit on your phone in the evening watching shit on TikTok or scrolling Facebook or online shopping for clothes? And she was like, well, I don't know, like of an evening while so-and-so's watching the telly. I was like, right, well, that's when you work your business. That's exactly it. And I do kick myself sometimes. I'll get home from work and I'll be sitting there and be like, oh my God, I'm so tired. I can't be bothered to do anything. I'm scrolling and then I start to get the ump and I'm like, this is not productive. So then I'll have a conversation with my team and I'll like, it doesn't have to be planned. It doesn't have to be regimented. And if it's not working, seriously, put it in the bin. Get in the bin. If it's not income producing, get in the bin. If it doesn't make you feel good, get in the bin. Seriously, throw it all away, strip it back and just go with what works for you, because it's okay to be unorganised. It's okay to not have systems. It's okay to sack the fluff off. It's okay to wing it, totally wing it, all day, every day, because it doesn't stop you being successful. You can literally have your own little bunch of craziness. Like, I know full well, I know Lisa's just commented saying my soul sister. Now, you look at mine and Lisa's businesses, okay? Lisa's business is absolutely freaking phenomenal. The woman is a legend, okay? She gets paid at title. Her PRV is amazing. Scentsy is her life. Scentsy is still my life, but I do still negotiate it around a job. Both of us are equally as unorganised as each other. We're still successful. Doesn't have to be perfect. I just think stop worrying about it. Stop worrying, start doing, stop planning, start doing things and putting things into action. And don't do all the things, because all the things will send you into overwhelm. And that is absolutely the one emotion that you do not need in this business. It's just do what makes you money. Do what grows you a team. Do what makes you happy. Sack the rest of it off. If it stresses you out, if it frightens you, well, actually, if it frightens you, it's probably what you should be doing, because that's outside your comfort zone. But if it makes you unhappy, don't do it. Just don't do it. If it's not working, or you can't get your head around it, or you're putting yourself under pressure, don't do it. That would literally be my advice. Yes, Lou, sometimes we all try to do too much. We try to do too much. And I will be really vulnerable now. Like, I didn't hit Monte Carlo. I am devastated. I cried, definitely, because I am my own biggest critic. But a week backwards, I'm okay with it. I was a week ago going, oh, well, I could have done this and I should have done that, or I could have done more, or I could have done this. And then actually, when I stood back and looked at it and thought of everything I've had go on personally in the last year, the changes that I've had in my job in the last year, actually, to walk away from that incentive with level 1 and, you know, I missed it by like 5,000 points, I did a bloody good job in getting that far. Will I make the same mistake again? Absolutely not. Will I go for the next one hell for leather early on instead of trying to do it in the last 2 weeks? I don't know. I don't know if I'll learn from that, because I think that it's my personality. I work better under pressure. But I've got content to train from, and I've got, you know, like experience to be able to say to you guys, it's okay to have not got there. Does it upset me? Yeah, of course it does, because I wanted to go to Monte Carlo. I went to Norway and it was bloody amazing. But seriously, it's okay, because it doesn't make me unsuccessful. Like, my numbers are still amazing. I still get paid at title. I've still got an incredible team, and So what? Incentives don't define you. Titles don't define you. Like, how you feel and what you're happy with, that defines you. And if that is 200 PRV a month, do 200 PRV a month. Break it down that you need to get 10 people to spend 20 quid. That's your 200 PRV. If you want 500 PRV a month, you need to find 20 people to spend 25 quid. That's your 500 PRV. If that makes you happy, that's fine. If you want to be a leader and you want to go out and you want to recruit people and you want to get paid at title, do it. Do it, do it, and do it until you're singing. Like, I can't, it will work for you. Like, my job is massive. Like, it's not, I don't just do a full-time job. I literally do run a country of salespeople, like £1,000 projects, design them from start to finish, work with the installers, get the items manufactured, you know, rebrand schools from start to finish, all sorts. It is full on. It's a lot to get my head around. There's a lot of facts and figures and all that jazz that goes in it. And it's not easy. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's easy, but it's doable. If you stop making the excuses and saying I can't, and you start putting things into action, it will happen for you. I cannot tell you enough how it will happen. And I promise you the recruitment will come with it. Like, it literally will. It will show you, and it will make you a better leader, because you're leading by example. You're showing people that actually, right, I'm recruiting you. You work 3 days a week. I work full time. So it's doable. This is what you need to do. This is how you manage your time. And the more conversations you have like that, the more appealing it makes our business. And the growth is where the money is. Like, the focus is where the money is. And that's where it's about cutting out the fluff and just do what makes you happy. Do what you're comfortable with. Stop comparing. Stay in your lane. Wing it. And just hope for the best, because your best at the end of the day is all you can give. And if you, like I did at the end of this incentive, you get to the end and you go, I gave it my best, and you're happy with that, that's fine. Doesn't matter what anybody else did. Doesn't matter if someone was in the top 100. Doesn't matter if someone got, I don't know, no points because they decided that they didn't want to do it. That's fine. Just do what makes you happy. Just do what works for you. And I will say, just really quickly as like one last thing, a couple of conversations that I've had about like people feeling guilty about working and then, you know, having time with their kids or whatever. I actually think that it's really important for children nowadays, because they are a very entitled generation, and they want things instantaneously and they want nice things. And, you know, I haven't got an attitude, well, mine certainly have. I think it's really important for them to see that you're working, and it's okay for you to have another business, and for them to understand that that time on your phone is not you scrolling pointlessly, it's you working your business. And Lisa said something on a training a little while ago, which is an absolutely brilliant, you know, like analogy. Get the kids to choose something. Get the kids to choose a treat that then, you know, you can say to them, right, mummy wants to be at 1,000 PRV by the end of this month, and I want one teammate. If I do that, we're going to go wherever you want to go. And that involves them. Mine actually get pocket money, so they help me. So they make samples with me. I've got local customers down my road that they go and deliver to for me. They go and do catalogue drops when I need them to, because it's incentivising them to show them to work. And don't get me wrong, like Carter said to me the other day, I said, oh right, well you need to do that next. And he went, oh, I'm not done. I was like, no. He's like, but I don't want to do that bit. I was like, so when you go to work and someone asks you to do something as your boss and you say, I don't want to do it, do you think you're going to get to keep your job? And he was like, I don't know. I was like, no, you don't. So you're going to do that. That's non-negotiable, otherwise you don't get paid. And he was like, okay. And it is. There's ways that this business can absolutely teach them. And as Lee said, like, I see this as their little legacy. Like, my little bee loves it, and I'm not planning on going anywhere. It's something to leave behind for them to do, and for them to be able to see that, you know, we can spin all the plates and we can do all the things. Doesn't matter if some of them crash and burn sometimes. Smash the plates that, you know. Oh, actually, Lisa, I'm going to use you've got the book. But I'm going to use a quote. So there was a quote from, I'm going to hope that I get it right. There's a quote from a book that Orville told us to get at SFR Leadership last year, and it's called The Dip, and it's relevant in terms of what we're talking about in working and riding a wave and coming out the other side. So the book's called The Dip, and it's by Seth Godin, but the first, one of the opening lines in the book that has always stuck with me is, the saying winners never quit is rubbish, because winners do quit. They quit the shit that's not working. And I'm going to leave you with that. Hope this was helpful. If anyone's got any other questions, let me know. Get in my inbox and I'm happy to answer them. But cut the fluff, wing it, just make it work. Make it work for you and you'll be successful.